Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are painting some dramatic Icelandic cliffs. Now you can get the outline for this in my book or yeah, in the book following the link below. So I'm just using my palette knife here and I've got some Payne's Grey on it, and I'm using this to map out some beautiful cliffs that we are busy starting to form here. Now I like using the palette knife because obviously it leaves some white and give it a bit of texture. So I'm using some warm sepia in there as well. And just making sure I've got some darker areas and some lighter areas. And leave some of it white also. So just adding more of that warm sepia. Just continue working these cliffs until you are happy with it. So just Payne's Grey and warm sepia. These are the only two colors I'm using for this. And here you can see I've added a bit more water. I've picked up some water with my palette knife and I'm just blending this into the cliff as well. Now these cliffs were quite flat at the top, so that's why I'm sort of just flattening it a little bit with the palette knife. Use your brush to blend some areas if you need to. And adding a little bit of green right there at the top, a bit of forest green at the top of my cliff. And just blending these areas together. So I don't want to blend it with the bottom rocks, that's what's closest to you. I just want to blend it down a little bit so that I don't have this awkward white gap. Okay, let's start with the sky, and we're going in for a dramatic sky over here. We're going to use yellow ochre for the sky as well as Payne's Grey. So wet the whole area first. Start with your Payne's Grey at your horizon line. Oh, sorry. Start with your yellow ochre at your horizon line. And then we're going in with the Payne's Grey. And because this area is still nice and wet, it will just bleed into its own sort of shape. Doing some smaller clouds closer to the horizon. Now, if you want, you can use some salt. I'm just using some normal table salt for this one because I do want to create some dramatic clouds, looking a bit interesting sky. So yeah, just throw some salt onto it. Sort of throwing it on the shape of my clouds. So where they get together, where they meet, just makes it a bit fun and interesting. Now you can drop in some darker colors I'm doing here, and I'm dropping in some of that Payne's Grey just to add some shadows into my sky. Now let's start with our ocean. So I'm going to start with Payne's Grey way at the back at the horizon line, make it nice and dark. And then as I move forward, I'll add a little bit of ultramarine blue and just lighten it up a little bit, but still you want to put some darker areas in there, which will be your Payne's Grey. You want to do some lighter areas with the ultramarine, and you want to keep some of those spaces white, just to give the idea of waves crashing against your rocks and in the distance as well. So just using a small brush, just do some darker areas, lighter areas. The dry brush technique works really well for this, and try and keep some white into your ocean as well. Now at this point I have a nifty little tool to remove my salt with. You can just rub it off. I've got one of those little table vacuums that I'm going to use, But I hope that you have enjoyed this one. I hope you found it fun with the salt. It definitely is a bit of a technique to learn to use, but altogether, I'm pretty happy with this result, and I hope that you've enjoyed this too. So subscribe if you haven't, buy the book if you haven't. The links will be in the description below. Thank you for watching.